Welcome back, everyone. Time now for our Smart Money segment. This morning we're focusing on pensions.
Stock market analyst and John A. Logan College professor David England is here with some advice, and we've also got some questions from our viewers this morning. We're trying to make this an interactive segment and get some viewer questions out there. So here's the first one we have for you. It is from Jim, and he says, upon retirement, what are the best options for rolling a pension over?
Well, there's a lot of answers to that question. What I would tell Jim is it depends on many situations. What's his age? Is he going to work some other place? What's his investing experience? Many people are forced to start to self-direct their investments, and many are not prepared to do that. So it's not a one-size-fits-all on that answer. It depends on many factors.
Wow.
But one of the things that he needs to take a look at is before he even retires, you might be a smart and very prudent thing to be looking at maybe developing either Roth or a traditional IRA to supplement his pension because of the situation with the pensions.
Okay, so a very individual basis, something you have to look at for those.
Now, and this is kind of not one of the questions that were asked, but since we're talking about pensions and all the situation with the state and modifying how firemen and policemen are going to be getting their pensions received. Is that going to trickle down on the rest of us, do you think?
Well, definitely have an effect. You know, the pensions are going to be one of the major things that are focused on now in the next 3 to 5 years. 5 years from now, we're going to look back, and the way that the pensions possibly could be at that point do not resemble how they are now. You know, whenever you're several $1 billion underfunded, people would just have to be naive to think that it can keep going just like it is. So that's why we need to educate the public that, you know, I'm not going to say what the changes are going to be because I don't have a crystal ball. All I can say is there's going to be major changes, so we need to be prepared for that.
Absolutely, and we have some more questions related to the stock market. We know that's your specialty, David, so let's take a look at what our next question is from Gary. What does Mr. England think of GM stock now?
Well, we had the IPO 2 or 3 weeks ago. Personally, I don't touch an IPO until at least 6 months until we see exactly what happens. Now, the Wall Street will protect it for a few months so that the shorters can't come in and drive the price down. But I like to see exactly what happens with it. Let's take a look at the earnings. Let's take a look at what many factors it would be. I'm not one of those people that just jumps in on an IPO. Personally, in my classes and seminars, I tell people it's all about managed risks. Take a look at the exchange-traded funds and these kinds of things that GM may be a part of, and that could be a safer play.
Always a good idea to do your homework before you jump in.
Always do your homework, and then rule number 2, go back to rule number 1, do more homework.
And we have a third question this morning from Randall this morning, I believe. Let's take a look at what Randall's asking. What is the best stock to have when everything goes belly up?
Well, in the stock market these days, as I tell my students, for everything negative, we have plenty of opportunities. There are different funds that you can buy that will actually go up in value when the stock market goes down. Those are called inverse funds. But as far as an individual stock, many times the money goes into the safe havens, like the staples. Not actual staples that go into staplers, but the staples which we have to buy to survive as families. So take a look at those types of things, those sectors that are usually safe havens. Also, even though utilities aren't that profitable, they normally have a higher return as far as the dividend goes. And when's the last time we saw a utility company go out of business? But once again, we're looking at what could go wrong, which we should. We are starting to see some positive things in the market. So it would be great, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us muddle through for the next few years, especially like with this unemployment number that we had on Friday. That was not good. But we don't just take a look at one number for 1 week or 1 month. But we are starting to see positive things out there, and that's what we need to do is look at it positive, but also have definite downside protection, because we have no idea what's going to happen with the market. And we also don't want to put all of our financial livelihood on the stock market.
Excellent. Well,
Very
stock market analyst David England, we're so happy to have you here contributing to our Smart Money segment, and thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And next week, we also welcome 2 experts for our Smart Money segment, Joy Gaddis and Brandy Hetrick from the nonprofit agency ClearPoint Credit Counseling Solutions will be here. They'll answer questions about mortgages and talk about other issues many of their clients are facing. Email your questions to news3am@wsiltv.com.